and welcome back to In Development. It is our mostly monthly update about what's happening behind the scenes at Washington Filmworks, talking a lot about the new programs we're launching and things like that. My name is Amy Lillard. I am the Executive Director of Washington Filmworks and WhipSmart. And the topic of conversation tonight is about workforce development. Couple of other updates before we jump in and we introduce you to a new Washington Filmworks team member. Just wanted to remind the community that the Small Budget Production Initiative and the Production Incentive Program, both application windows are open, which is super exciting. We do have, if you're intending to apply and you have questions about how to apply or what that application is all about, please join us for one of our two remaining info sessions. We have one on Sunday at 10 a.m. right over the holiday weekend. That was an oops on our part, but maybe, you're just sitting at home and you want to join us at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And then we have another info session on Tuesday at 12 o'clock. So make sure you RSVP because that's how we get you the link to join the conversation in Zoom. And you can do that. I know we're going to post that somewhere tonight. Also, we literally just sent out another announcement about an incredible new person joining our WhipSmart team. I'm really happy to share that Melissa Huggins from Spokane Arts, a longtime collaborator at WhipSmart, is joining our team starting August 1st. So welcome to Melissa. And then finally, a big shout out to all of our Film Leadership Council members who were in town for the opening night of the Seattle International Film Festival, but they actually came into town to do a whole work plan for that committee for the year so that they have articulated their priorities, and you're going to see all of that unravel. Totally wrong word, come out of the gate over the next year or so. So with that, I am delighted to invite Audra Laymon to the conversation. Hello, Audra.
Hello, Amy.
Audra is our brand new Director of Workforce Development, and we are very lucky to have her on the team. But Audra, can you just tell us a little bit about your background and all that jazz?
Sure. Well, I just joined the team at Washington Filmworks 2 months ago, nearly exactly.
Oh, that is awful.
Live TV. And that also cued my son to start playing the piano. So we'll just be slightly cacophonous.
Welcome to our homes.
So I have worked in workforce development for over a decade now in human services and social services. I've worked for agencies in the Puget Sound region. I live in South Puget Sound in the Tacoma area. I've worked for organizations serving underrepresented communities, so a lot of youth work in that 16 to 24 age range, a lot of work in immigrant and refugee communities, and then most recently worked for an agency in Seattle doing workforce development and community engagement work with young people experiencing homelessness. So I've had this passion and experience around workforce development for quite some time. But before all of that, I got a degree in film and theater in the Bay Area in California, and worked in theater for a bit before I moved into social services. But I've always kind of maintained my creative side hustles. And I'm an artist and enjoy making art. So I'm so excited that I get this opportunity to do workforce development in a creative industry and put those skills to work in helping folks really find meaningful, sustainable work doing what they love in the arts.
Absolutely. Since you mentioned that you're an artist, what's hanging behind you?
Thanks for asking. I could tell you lots of stories about this print, but this is a 3 foot by 3 foot relief print. So it's a giant block of linoleum that I carved for hours and hours, and then inked up and was printed via steamroller because it's so large at an event down here in the Tacoma area called Tacoma Ways Goose, which is a wonderful annual event. So yeah, I've done I think I've participated in that event about maybe 8 times over the past 10, 12 years or so. So this is the type of art I enjoy making at this point.
For those in the community that don't know, what part of what I love about our team is that everyone seems to have like a creative thing that they do, which brings so much to the team in so many ways. So, well, let's jump into workforce development at Washington Filmworks. Can you, I think it would be really great from your perspective, like when we say workforce development, what does that mean exactly?
It's a great question. So workforce development really, it can vary by region, by sector, but really workforce development is programming initiatives that are designed to help prepare folks for an industry's current needs and future needs. So it pulls together a lot of different folks. It can often pulls together employers for sure, individuals, educational systems, unions, governments, entities like Washington Filmworks. So it becomes this really wonderful intersection of a lot of different folks who are invested in how do we really build a workforce in an industry in a way that is sustainable and helps folks have meaningful work, right? Work where they can stay in this community, buy a home, raise a family, do all those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that said, and kind of that table setting, can you remind the community about what specifically is in the bill that passed and how, we're approaching that work?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think as folks hopefully know, last year, thanks to the advocacy of a ton of people, the Bill 1914 passed and it raised the incentives, which Amy spoke about earlier. It also set aside funding and really a mandate around workforce development. It in particular called out that there are barriers to entry for underrepresented communities in this workforce, and that there's a real need for training and job placement support and career connected learning. So career connected learning is often starts really in school settings and moves through from career exploration to really preparation, and then programs that really launch folks into careers. So it's a longer term pathway to really look at how to set folks up for success. So the bill named all of these things and said, we're going to engage in this work. And I just saw a comment saying it's a game changer for Washington. Agreed.
100% agree. 100% agree. So what, by the way, I don't know if you can hear my dog, but my dog is now barking. So can you talk a little bit, since you've come on board, you've really started engaging in community. So can you talk about the process that you and Washington Filmworks is going, is doing to get to programs?
Yeah. When I first started, I really needed to, I took a look at the bill and obviously the work that has come before at Washington Filmworks, and really coalesced around sort of what's the guiding vision of what we want to do here. And so really imagining a future where film sets and the stories told through film are really representative of the full diversity of Washington State and its residents. And so I think with that in mind, started meeting with folks to find out, what does this really look like? What's in the way? How do we measure it? How are we measuring it now? Who's accountable to lead this change? What are some of the barriers for entry for individuals? What are some of the barriers we see at a systemic level? So I had a lot of really, I told folks I'm an optimistic person, and I'm inviting you into a conversation that's probably going to feel really focused on what's not working. But it really has helped me get a sense of the landscape of what we're working with, what's not working. It also, I want to acknowledge that we are joining this work. There are a lot of folks already in this space, already doing incredible work. And so the other question really is, what's our role? What's Washington Filmworks' role? Are there things already happening that we can help support? Are there gaps we can identify? And if so, are we the entity to fill it? Are we an entity to help convene the folks to fill it? So I have had really wonderful conversations. I've met 40 plus folks across the state. I've met with filmmakers, with workforce development folks, with teachers, with union reps, with city and county officials. So it's been this really amazing group of folks that have kind of joined me in that space to have that conversation.
You know what I appreciate about the way that we're approaching the work too is we are thinking about it in, with two lenses. How do we support the emerging writer, director, producer, above the line person, individual, as well as how do we, support below the line crew members in crafts that they want to pursue? So can you talk about those two different approaches and some of the focuses we have right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that we're really excited about in that above the line space, we know that there is, I'll back up a little bit. We know that there's programming that we'll be getting going and launching that focuses on those two areas in particular. There's more work we're going to do, but that's really clear. We need to have some concerted effort above the line and below the line. On the above the line side, really excited to share, and I know, Amy, you've talked about this a bit in other spaces too, but we're currently working on the Emerge program. So this is a program which has had a lot of leaders thinking on this for a while, and I'm really happy to have inherited some of this work. And we're right now undergoing the process of really finalizing the outline and some of this curriculum and what that'll look like in the next month. And so I hope that folks will stay tuned as we continue to finalize, and I don't want to say finalize, as we continue to arrive at places where we're feeling good about the programs we want to offer and the initiatives we want to engage in. We're going to be coming back to you all and to community and saying, is this right? Give us feedback. Let us know what else you'd like to see. One of the wonderful things I really love about the Washington Filmworks team is how highly iterative we are, and that we're really open to trying things and talking to folks and then taking feedback and changing it if it's not serving the need. Again, ultimately, we're here to help build the depth and breadth of the workforce and make sure that it's really representative of Washington State. So that's where we're pointed.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. And we have been moving very quickly in this realm. I mean, you haven't been on the team too terribly long, but I'm curious to know, what is the community saying about this new opportunity that there's so many new things that Washington Filmworks gets to do. And I'm just wondering how the community is feeling about workforce in general, where are they at?
Everywhere I go, including in the chat right here, I want to talk about workforce development. So it's the conversation folks want to have. And I'm so excited about that. I think that we have a huge opportunity to build on the strengths we have throughout the state and really do this well, to be a model for other states as well. I just think we have huge opportunity. I'm very distracted by the very
I know it's very
positive chat.
Very distracting.
But I think, so many of the things I've heard from folks around, a lot of my conversations obviously have been focused on the what's not working well. But I've also heard so much of what's working well, right? That everyone I've talked to has spoken about mentors and incredible connections they've built in this community and the folks that have helped them along the way. That's a huge strength that I think collectively we should be proud of and continue to tap into as a resource. We have a lot of strong women filmmakers in Washington State. That's an incredible strength. Our state is beautiful. Another incredible strength. I just think the sky's the limit. I think there's just so much with the incentives, with the growing incentive. There's so much good things coming our way.
I know. I mean, one of the things that is such a joy is we don't just fund things anymore. We think about career connected learning. We think about workforce. We think about above the line. We think about below the line. We think about funding first time, second time filmmakers. It's such a great and exciting time to be in film. And Audra, we are so lucky to have you because you are so passionate about film. We knew that from the very moment we met you. And then on top of it, you're such an expert in this field. And so you speak the language, you love film, and you're just like the perfect fit. So we're very, very glad to have you. And I'm sure you're going to be coming back when we, know more and are launching different things like Emerge and all of that. Is there anything else you want to share before we sign off on this particular in development?
I think the only thing I would add is just exactly what I'm seeing in the chat and other places, that it really does, everyone has a part in this. And so I think I just put that out there, that there are obviously systems and organizations and sort of entities involved, but at some level, it also just comes down to the individual. If folks have a willingness to engage and believe in this, I think there's incredible things we can do.
Exactly. And we will be in community looking for feedback. Washington Filmworks does not do anything in a vacuum. And so you'll be seeing us out in community and giving the community an opportunity to participate in the conversation as well. So with that, tune in next month and we'll have another topic. I don't know what it is, but I will tell you next month, we might be introducing a couple of new folks that have just come on board. So lots of exciting things happening at Washington Filmworks. If you have questions for us, please email us at info@washingtonfilmworks.org. And don't forget about those 2 info sessions coming up on Sunday and Tuesday for our funding programs. So Audra, thanks for being here.